Hello and welcome. I am Min Kobayashi and I'm really excited. I'm a little bit late, but I get to talk about the authors that I want to read more of, or like some of these authors I have read like one or two books, but I really want to explore their wider works in 2019 and I'm really excited. I think I'm getting sick. I think it's that time of year. My throat is kind of killing me, so I'm going to be drinking water lots. I've actually been really good because it's currently the 20th of January, so I've actually read a few of these authors and didn't really expect to read them this fast. I want to read some Leigh Bardugo. I've heard really mixed things about the Grishaverse. It's either things people love or hate. Sometimes they find it boring, sometimes they absolutely love it. I hear almost unanimously good things about Six of Crows and Crooked Kingdom, and King of Scars looks awesome. So I'm going to do the original Grisha trilogy and hopefully Six of Crows and Crooked Kingdom. Way back when I first started my channel in May of 2017, I got Six of Crows and then I realized I shouldn't read it without context, and it's just been a really long time because I haven't picked up the books. I did read her Wonder Woman Warbringer book and I really liked it. It wasn't the most extraordinary thing, but I think that the friendships were really well done. I've heard the villain is really extraordinary. Almost unanimously I hear the Darkling, that's his name, right, is phenomenal. So I love villains. And I said I wanted to read Rakshi Chokshi. Oh my goodness, feel like I've never mispronounced her name, and now that I mispronounced it, I'm just gonna keep on mispronouncing it. I'm so sorry. Sometimes that gets into your head, you know? She's a phenomenal writer, I've heard. Okay, I'd never read anything of her works other than A Thousand Beginning and Ending, and it was just a short story and it was lovely, but wow. Okay, I read The Gilded Wolves already. I just finished it today and it blew me away. It was extraordinary. The character development and the characterization was some of the best I've ever written, and I absolutely adored it. It is now one of my new favorite books, and it's a 5-star, which I don't generously give off. So, and then Are You Shaw and the End of the World with Rick Riordan presents, and The Star-Touched Queen. That was harder to say than I expected. So I'm really excited to get into her novels, especially now that I've read a full one and adored it. I also think that there should be a caveat that because I read her latest book, that her earlier books sometimes, like, they take development, so they might not be as extraordinary because she's probably grown as a writer, but I will keep that in balance when reading. I want to read the Bronte sisters, something I wanted to do in 2018, and I didn't actually pick up any of their books. I read portions of several of their books, but I never finished any of theirs. And some of the ones that I really want to read is Jane Eyre. I took it on Christmas vacation last year because I really desperately wanted to read it and get it. And I was like, I have a number of books, but on Christmas vacation, I go home and my family's just like, spend all our time, stop reading. So I didn't read it, and it hasn't been read since, and I really want to know it. I think I'll be a Jane Eyre person. I know you're either you are or you aren't kind of thing. I also really want to read The Tenant of Wildfell Hill. I read the first few chapters. It is great. I don't know why I haven't read more of it. I get distracted very easily. And also Shirley, because I know it deals with a lot of social commentary and all of that, and I'm all in for that. Also Victoria Schwab. I read the first two books in The Darker Shades of Magic. I liked the first one, although I feel like I was somewhat probably riding the hype train. I don't normally, but like people said it was really good and it was decent, so I was like, yeah, it's good. I gave it a 3-star. It wasn't something extraordinary for me. And then I read the second one and I didn't super like it at all, and I still need to finish A Conjuring of Light. I've been excited to get Vicious Forever, and after requesting it forever from my library finally decided that it would be a good idea to get a copy of it. I'm really enjoying it, and I can't wait to read it and Vengeful. Hopefully my library also has Vengeful. And I've also had the first book of Monster Verities on my shelves, and I started reading this summer too, and I just didn't complete it. It didn't super draw my thing. I expected it to be in a mysterious world, and it had Catholic school in it, and just kind of weirded me out, I guess. It was a different one than what I expected. And then Jenna Morassi. Long before I knew BookTube was a thing, I was watching Jenna Morassi. I've been watching her for probably 5 years now, and I really want to read her books. I've heard much better things of The Savior's Champion. I do have to order them for like full price because they're not sold here. This will hopefully happen depending on budgetary things, because I would have to buy it and then pay shipping because it's not sold in Canadian stores because she's an independent author. Then we have Brandon Sanderson. This book is almost universally accepted as like a future classic in fantasy novels. I got it for free I don't know. I feel like it was like a little angel dropped it off, because one day I just opened the mail and it was there. I read the first Mistborn book. It was really good. I thought it was wonderful. I loved the conclusive plot of it. I want to make an effort to read more Brandon Sanderson this year. Jay Kristoff. This is a library book that I got out because I wanted to look at how he does footnotes, because I think it's really interesting. I really loved Nevernight, and I extraordinarily loved Illuminae. Godsgrave was like mediocre for me. Like, it was good, it just didn't hit my expectations based on the first one. I really want to finish the Illuminae files, and I would really like to read his Lotus Wars because they're based on Japanese nice stuff, which I'm all for. And Aurora Rising is coming out with Amy Kaufman as well, and I'm excited for that. And then Tahira Mafi. I'm probably not going to pick up her Shatter Me series, as I went on a thing about popular series I would never read. If I really loved her other books, I might be tempted to. However, I've heard really good things about Witchwood and Furthermore, and I've been thinking about picking them up for a while, and I want to push myself to read them, especially since I want to read middle grade, and also because I really do enjoy contemporary novels that deal with diversity, especially racial diversity, and that conversation. And A Very Large Expanse of Sea is about a woman, it's based on, I think, Tahira's own life as being a teenager after 9/11 and how that influenced her life as a Muslim and a breakdancer. So I'm really excited to look at that as well. I really adore Neal Shusterman as an author after reading Scythe and Thunderhead, and I want to read some of his others. I read like very beginning of Challenger Deep. It is a little bit like there's a lot going on. So I might get it in physical copy as well before I try to dive into it. And then I also think that Dry is very interesting. I can't imagine a world where there is going to be, I was going to say a famine, but a drought. It was really funny because I heard my friend Kara talk about this book, and she lives in California. She's like, this is a real threat. I can't read this. This is too real. And I was like, I live where there is so much water. It's ridiculous. Canada has the most fresh waters in the world. I'm an hour away from 3 of the Great Lakes where I am. There's a tons of fresh water where I live. Because I think that it'll explore the morality and the social dynamics and stuff like that he really is good with it. So I'm really excited to read Dry. Then we have Maggie Stravatter. I'd only read The Raven Boys when I made this list, but since then I've actually finished this one and I liked it. Other than one of the, I guess he is the villain of the story, I did not like it. But it wasn't like I don't like the villain as in like, please end me now, this is terrible to, like, he was just irritating to have on the page. But I really enjoy her writing. I think that is very cool. I love the way that she switches between different narratives, and it's just like, I love the intelligence that she ensues in her writing, and I'm really excited to read it more and finish the series, and then the Scorpio races and maybe Wolves. I don't know, depends on how much I like her. And then Lucy Maud Montgomery. I absolutely adore her. So this is kind of a cheat because I've read 10, 11 of her books before. Anne of Green Gables is something that is one of my favorite books. I reread it this year. I absolutely love it. I reread Anne of Avonlea. However, I'm putting it on the list because I have largely, until the last few months, not read any of her books in 10 years. And I think that counts as trying to read more of her books. Plus, she has a very large amount of books that she published in her lifetime, and there's some that I would like to explore that I haven't read yet. So I'm excited to also hopefully conclude rereading her series because I think it is delightful. And some of the ones that I'm interested in reading is The Story Girl again, and its sequel, The Golden Road, because it's based on the series Road to Avonlea, which I love. It's like my childhood wrapped into one little cinnamon roll. I love it. A Tangled Web We Weave is a book that I read the first few chapters when I was in high school, and then my friend dropped out, so we had spare together, and I never read again. And then Pat of Silverbush, Blue Castle, Jane of Lantern Hill, and Emily of New Moon. And Blue Castle because it's the only one who takes place in Ontario, and it's right, like, it takes place fairly near to where I lived. And Lucy Maud Montgomery actually lived 20 minutes away from where I live now, which is, it just puts me in thrills. Last, and certainly not least, I want to meet some Margaret Atwood. She was born in Ottawa, which is where I grew up and was born, and now lives also very close to me. Canadian author, yeah. So I need to read her work. I need to read The Handmaid's Tale. I still haven't friggin' found a copy of it. I don't know where all the copies of this is. Why is it never in used bookstores? This is my issue. It's not that I can't find copies of it, it's just that I don't like buying books new. I have Dancing Girls. I do own that one, and there's a few other books that by her that I'm interested in. Tell me some authors that you are interested in reading in 2019 that you maybe read none or just very little amount of their work. And happy reading and happy writing, and have a fantastic day.